So I'm gonna be putting together this VIPEK S2 clothing rack. I wanted to show you everything that comes in the box first, and then we'll put it together right here. So I have tried a few of their clothing racks before, and I have loved every single one. It always comes packaged really well, and it's always clearly marked. So I really appreciate that. It makes putting this together so much easier. Alrighty, so now that we have everything out of the box, I did want to show you all of the pieces that come in here. So it's going to be A through R, but up close, this is what they look like. So they're all really clearly marked except for two of them. So you get 2 packs of A, 4 packs of B, 2 packs of C. The only ones that are not clearly marked are these 4 wire racks. There's 2 separate ones. So E is the one with the clamps on the side, and then D is the one without clamps on the side. So if you look, these have the 4 pull holes, whereas these ones only have 2 pull holes and then clamps on the other side. So E and then D. Don't get them mixed up. And then right here we have F. They are clearly marked. These are going to be our shoe racks. These are pretty cool. I'll go over them some more in some detail, and I'll show you how it works. But look at how close these wires are. It's great for holding shoes. Anyway, moving on, we got 2 G pieces, a bunch of H pieces. I don't remember how many, but they're all came in like a box, except for these 2. They were separate, but I believe they are the same exact piece. Yes, just they're all the same. And then we have 1 I, 1 J, and then K through R are all in this bag right here. So these are going to be like our clips and our screws and like hooks and stuff like that. That's all going to be in that bag. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. It is 1:06 right now, and we are starting our time lapse. So let's see how long it takes to complete this. It did take about an hour and a half to fully complete this and get it built. I forgot to record when I stopped recording, but it was about an hour and a half. So I did want to show you up close. These clips are what hold the racks in place, and you just want the top to face top, and if you just click them on either side of the pole and then just pull down till it clicks, then they are in place, and they just go over these little areas on each rack, and it just holds it in place. You might want a little mallet just to like kind of get it down in there, but I was able to use my hand and just push them into the clips so that they're nice and secure. And then you do want the VIPEK logo to be facing up, and that's how you know it's the right way up. All right, next we're going to be screwing these 2 racks together just by putting in the hook. And you're just gonna be using the L piece, the O piece, and the P piece. And those are just gonna screw in these 2 areas right here, because right now this is just free floating, so we wanna secure that. For this next part, you are going to be connecting part H with part F with part L. You'll need all of those pieces. I'll collect them in just a second, but you'll need all of those. But let me just show you how it works for the first one. Making sure that everything is put on correctly. See this little tab right here on piece H? You want that pointing down because these are tapered. So the fatter end is going to be going down, and the skinnier end that locks those clips into place are going to be facing up. So just make sure that it's going like that. And then for piece F, one side is going to have a raised wire right here. So you're going to put that down so that this whole top surface is completely flat. So you're not getting caught on anything when you put your shoes on here or whatever. So make sure that this is completely smooth and flat, and then this pole is facing down. Now we just have to screw through this hole with piece L into this little screw hole right there at the end. And we're going to be doing that for all 6 of the F pieces. And if you want to look at the diagram, this is what the diagram says as well. So after we put together all of those shoe racks, we're going to be attaching it to those base poles with the clips, and you'll just do that to your liking. You can space them out however much you like. I did do just one on the bottom and then put the next poles in. Those are those B pieces. And then you're going to put more shelving on. And after those two next racks, I did attach the G piece. That's going to be your bottom hanging rack. This is optional. You don't have to do it, but I did. It's going to make it more stable, and I just like the way that looks better. And then you're just going to keep adding those shelves to your liking. At the very end, we're going to be putting piece E on first, and that's going to be the one with all of the 4 hole holes. Next, we're going to be putting piece K on. You got to do that before you put piece D on because it's going to sandwich between those two pieces. Then you're just going to secure them like you did on the base pieces, just with those screws.
So I did want to point out that this E piece seems to be bending up a little bit because of the pressure. So it's really hard to screw in this piece like we did on the very bottom. I have to pull down while screwing this on just to make sure that it is completely on there. Lastly, we're just connecting piece I with piece K, and that just is using piece L again, the last 2 pieces of L. We're almost done. All right, that was the last piece. All right, this is what it looks like fully put together. It does come with some wall mounts, but I'm not going to be using that because I want this to be able to be moved. But if you did want to mount this to a wall to make it more secure and safe, then you can do that. They do give you that option. And you would just use piece R for that. So it's a bunch of pieces in the R bag, but I'm not going to be using that. But here are the instructions if you wanted to mount it to the wall. It just shows you everything that you'll need to do. But here is another way you could put this together. So it doesn't have to be put together with the way I did it. So this one's nice if you only have short things that you want to hang, like skirts or shirts. But style 1 makes it so that you can hang really long things as well. I love the way this turned out. I love how it looks and how functional it is. I always love VIPEK products because they are so sturdy, so useful, and they look really sleek and nice as well. And they're always coming out with better designs, making their products better. Like this heel design for the shelf. It has all these little wires right here so that when you put heels on them, they don't fall through the wire rack. Look at that. I love that design. Excuse my shoes, they're a little beat up. I just went to a wedding outdoors, so they are a little funky looking. But yeah, I love that I can put a stiletto heel on there and it's not gonna fall through. That is one reason why I normally don't put shoes on these wire racks, is because my heels always fall through. But with this one, they won't do that anymore. So as you can see, I put so much on this rack and there's still so much room. And I put all of my heavy sweaters on here and it's not even bending at all. Their hanging rods are so sturdy. They're so strong. I haven't had any trouble with these bending or warping. I'm just really impressed with this right now. And then I like that I can hang my shirts and shorter clothing down here. And I even have more room for like pants or even boots down here. Speaking of boots, I put them on the top here. I could put them down here below my dresses as well, but these are fully customizable. That's the great thing about VIPEK, is you can just customize this to your needs exactly. So if you're building this for a certain piece of clothing, if I wanted to build this for my boots on the bottom, I would have just moved this up all a little bit more, or put one of these shelves on the other side or up top on the other side, something like that. And then I could have fit my boots down here. So like my little flats and sandals down here, those don't need to be this tall. So I could move these all up a few notches and then have my boots down here and they would fit perfectly. I just love how customizable this thing is. And for the second option that I showed you that you can do, style 2, you would just use these 2-way screws right here and then you could have them side by side. So you could have the shelves going all the way across, but that's how you would do that. And again, it is in the instructions. I just chose to do it this way just so I could have long dresses hanging as well.
But yeah, I think my favorite part about these is the closer wire rack design for heels. I think that is an absolute game changer. It changes what you can put on the wire racks. I was never able to put my heels on here before. I would have to get like a plastic sheet and then put them on there. But this just looks so much sleeker, not having to put anything on the wire racks. It just looks so nice and it's super useful. I absolutely love all their stuff.